On January 15, 2009, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 left LaGuardia Airport bound for Charlotte, North Carolina, piloted by Captain Chesley Sullenberger and First Officer Jeff Skiles. Less than 2 minutes into the flight,
thud, slam, boom, and then like a whoop.
Everybody started looking at each other like, what's going on?
And the one announcement that came from Captain was, "This is your captain, brace for impact."
What?
At an altitude just below 3,000 feet, the aircraft struck a flock of large Canada geese, which permanently damaged the engines and caused them to fail.
This is Cactus 1539. Hit birds to lost thrust on both engines, returning back towards LaGuardia.
Cactus 15.9, which engines? He lost thrust in both engines, he said.
Got it.
Turn left heading up 220.
220.
Cactus 15.9, runway 4 is available if you want to make left traffic to runway 4.
Idiot, runway. One step or to our right, anything in New Jersey, maybe Teterboro.
Okay, yeah, off your right side is Teterboro Airport. Cactus 1529 over the George Washington Bridge wants to go to the airport right now.
Wants to go to our airport. Check. Does he need assistance?
Yes, it was a bird strike. Can I get him in for runway 1?
Runway 1, that's good.
Cactus 1529, turn right 280, you can land runway 1 at Teterboro.
We can't do it.
Okay, which runway would you like at Teterboro?
We're going to be in the Hudson.
Okay, what do you need to land?
210, 4718. I think he said he was going to the Hudson.
When Captain Sullenberger saved 155 lives on that cold January afternoon, it had less to do with heroics and luck and more to do with preparation.
My life is all about routine. It's about checklists and procedures. Some people see a pilot's life as romantic and adventuresome, but it's really more about showing up day in and day out, doing your job with precision and dedication, working hard to anticipate and never be surprised, but being ready in any given moment to take on a sudden challenge.
The truth is, every one of us has what it takes to follow in Captain Sully's footsteps. But first we have to understand that real commitment to safety requires a combination of preparation and experience while maintaining an attitude of doing your best and helping others. You can do this by following the 4 C's: competence, compassion, commitment, and communication. By living these 4 simple principles, you prepare yourself to rise to any occasion, just like Captain Sully did when he faced the single most challenging situation of his life.
When we say that someone is competent at their job, what we mean is that they have the skills, the knowledge, the ability to do the job properly and safely, and that's the result of education, training, and experience. Even though in the first few seconds I knew this had become the ultimate challenge of a lifetime, I was confident I could solve the problem.
The fact is, competence is not something that just happens during extraordinary situations. It is cultivated day in and day out in every task you perform. It comes from focusing on doing a job right each and every time. Before each task you do, be sure you know how to safely perform the work required. If you are not sure of the correct procedures, ask your supervisor for direction. Be sure you understand what is expected of you and that you are competent to perform the task.
Within 8 seconds of the bird strike, realizing that we were without engines, I knew that this was the worst aviation challenge I'd ever faced.
A boom, and then like a whoop, thud, slam, boom, and then this rancid smell of jet fuel and, I would say, burning flesh poured through the air.
It wasn't chaos, but it was just confusion, I guess. People kind of trying to process, what is this? What is the sound? What is the smell?
That was like immediately like, all right, something's wrong, something's happened. But the plane was still being flown.
It was the most sickening, pit of your stomach falling through the floor feeling I had ever experienced.
I was like, we're crashing. And literally I just thought, like, we're going down, we're crashing.
It's like slow motion, nobody was moving, at least that's my perception. I have to call my husband, I have to say goodbye.
All those years of experience, those thousands of moments at the controls of an airplane made me sure I could do this.
And then probably within like 5 seconds or so, Sullenberger got on, and he said, "This is your captain, brace for impact."
What do you mean brace for impact? You never hear that. My initial thought was disbelief, and what did he just say? That no, that can't be happening.
This is your captain, brace for impact. And he knew exactly what he was doing. The confidence in his voice was astounding. Like, I had no fear. because he was so confident, like, this is what is supposed to happen. This is your captain. Brace for impact.
Basically, we were going to have to glide the plane in for a landing.
So at one point when we were going down, the flaps kind of kicked in, I remember, and we kind of came up a little bit, and I was like, whoa, wait a second. You know, we might have something here.
At just the right instant, I pulled the side stick back, then farther back, finally full back, and held it there as we touched the water.
I want to say it was almost like a landing, but, you know, obviously it wasn't.
And then I felt the impact. And this, you know, this huge jolt forward. I remember my head hitting the seat in front of me, and I immediately felt extremely cold water around my feet.
Jeff and I turned to each other and said, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought. It was an acknowledgement that we had solved the first and the biggest problem of the day, but there were still 155 people on an airplane that might soon be sinking.
I was surprised that the plane didn't break into pieces.
I looked up to the right, and there was sunlight coming in the window.
You know, I could feel the water rising. So at this point, it felt like it was somewhere around my waist, maybe, you know, upper hip area. So it was extremely cold, and I had this flash of, okay, I survived a plane crash, but now I'm going to drown.
By acting quickly, Sully demonstrated compassion. He and his crew managed to get every passenger off the plane within 4 minutes.
When the evacuation was complete, I walked the aisle of the airplane twice.
He had been going back and forth through the plane. Him and Jeff went back and forth through the plane twice, making sure that it was empty.
I could leave no possibility of anyone being left behind.
At that point, I remember like looking out at the plane, and there was a helicopter spinning around, and still being like, gosh, just get me out of this situation, you know?
I saw a lot of compassion the day we landed in the Hudson. Hundreds of people on their own initiative took heroic, immediate, life-saving action.
Standing on the wing, I hear a woman screaming, I'm gonna die, help me, save me.
There were 17 people in the water on that side of the plane. There were people out there. And I thought, that looks good. I'm just getting out of this plane if I can. And I walked up to the door, and I was about to jump in, and like right here next to me, somebody, the black-haired woman, came up and said, wait, get a seat cushion.
And I said to myself, I gotta help people. Doesn't matter what I want to do, I must help.
I remember physically feeling like the water was 35 degrees. I remember physically feeling like, but not feeling the cold.
As soon as I jumped in, I just like totally took my breath away. I've never felt that sensation before, and I realized there's no way that I could like, even it being like 3 or 4 feet from me, like I can't do that.
I said, we have to get to that raft. And we turned around and we started kicking back to the raft.
And literally, those guys just started plucking us off the wing.
The gentleman on the ferry grabbed my arms and just literally flipped me on top of him and got me out. Then I turned and said, I gotta get her. I literally turned on the rescue ferry and tried to go back.
Every day, you need to care about the people around you and demonstrate compassion in everything you do. Your choice to act safely affects those who work around you, and your coworkers' choices affect you. Choose to act for safety on behalf of each other. Sully's compassion was not simply something that appeared on the day of the incident. In the years leading up to the crash of Flight 1549, Captain Sullenberger made a conscious effort to consistently exercise care and compassion for all his passengers and fellow workers.
I don't want to go through my life as a bystander. So if someone needs help, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, I want to be the person to provide that help if I can. So whether it's a standby passenger that needs to get on one of my flights, or a stranded passenger in a layover city, or a sick passenger or fellow crew member, if there's a problem that I can help fix, I want to help fix it.
In addition to competence and compassion, you must also show commitment. That means making sure the job is done right every time. When it comes to safety, commitment means being mindful of the situation by being aware of the potential risks and hazards and knowing the right way to get the job done so everyone can make it home at the end of the day.
Commitment to the principle of safety is of paramount importance. In the airline industry, everyone is keenly aware of how our jobs directly affect the safety of our passengers. And whether you're a ground crew member, a baggage handler, a flight attendant, or a pilot, you know that your commitment to doing your job safely, conscientiously, and thoroughly will result in a higher standard of safety for everyone.
About the time I noticed the first ferry coming, I could see a ferry. I said, we are going to be safe, we are going to be okay. Of course, I want to get on the ferry. But I knew that wasn't the right choice to make. There were people who were panicking, people who were freaked out, and people who wet, freezing.
Commitment is something that applies to everyone. We all have a part to play in the process. And whether you're the newest member of the team or a 42-year veteran like me, it could be your commitment that's the essential element that makes all the difference. I fully expected that I would go my whole career without ever facing a crisis like the one on Flight 1549. Still, I went through every checklist every time. I made sure I knew exactly how many passengers were on each flight. We never know when it will be tested, but we need to be prepared and to do it right every time.
He was so in control that there was no way I thought he was connected to the situation. Everybody else is kind of out of it, like what happened and what's happening. And then there's this man, and this is the guy that landed the plane in the river, and he's still so in control, whereas everybody else is what's happening and what did happen. But it's just a remarkable man.
The fourth C is communication. Clear and effective communication can mean the difference between success and failure, even life and death. That's why effective communication skills are among the most important to have in every walk of life and in every industry. This means that all members of any given work team are constantly and effectively interacting with each other to maintain a strong and safe work environment.
Communication among the flight crew on Flight 1549 and between the pilots and the air traffic controllers was absolutely critical. In the cockpit, Jeff and I never made eye contact, but from the few words he spoke and his overall demeanor and body language, I had the clear sense that he was not panicked. He was not distracted. He was working quickly and efficiently. We spoke directly in a back-and-forth manner that kept us both fully aware of every detail of the situation.
Without him even talking, knowing that that he was in control and he was trying to take control of a situation that was, at that point, uncontrollable.
We need to try to do the right thing and to perform at our best every time. That's integrity. Doing the right thing even when it's not at all convenient. Flight 1549 wasn't just a 5-minute journey. My entire life led me safely to that river. 42 years of conscientiously doing my job, paying attention to the details, being dedicated to safety, anticipating problems, and communicating effectively prepared me to respond when I needed to.
What can I say to express my gratitude? I don't feel like I ever have the right words. I haven't quite figured out what they are besides thank you.
He'll always be my captain, and I feel like I have to give him that formality. He's not a man named Sully. He's just not my friend Sully. He's my captain.
If I could have people come away from this program with just one nugget of wisdom, it would be this. Be prepared for the unexpected. By doing the little things, day in and day out, you ready yourself for the big things, the unexpected things. By incorporating the 4 C's of this program, competence, compassion, commitment, and communication into your daily life, you not only do a better job and create a safer work environment, you prepare yourself better for whatever unexpected event life may throw at you. It worked for me, it can work for you.